Woo! New assemblies are in and mounted. You can see the blue glow of them bulbs in them. That's going to be a hell of a lot better. My name is Chilly Willy. I'm frozen through and through. Hey everybody, Wild Man Willie here on another beautiful Saturday morning. Got all the trees are in peak bloom and looking beautiful. Toyotathon is over. Now it's Happy Honda Days. A friend of mine just picked up this Honda from a family member, so it's staying in the family. They've got some very dull headlights on it, and they'd like to put some brake pads on the car. They had already purchased their stuff when they called me, so they got them some eBay special headlamp assemblies, which are new, which I don't see nothing wrong with that. Those are perfectly good. They had also gone ahead and purchased their brakes. They bought these Akebono brake pads, which while I told them they may well have overpaid, I am proud to install those parts. They won't be bad. They'll be great. I did get them to send back the bulbs they had. They did have a set of very sketchy looking eBay gold housing LED stuff. No. I declined to put that in. Got them sent it back. We got a very nice set of lights now. We got the CrystalVision Platinum, which is up to 60% brighter. These are nice. These are pretty non-offensive for the low beams, I believe, is what we did. Those are a very white light. They do give you brighter than normal performance, but there's not a whole lot of terrible glare like you get out of my blinder setup. We did go with the blinders for the high beams, but ain't nobody supposed to be, you use that when there's no one coming at you, so screw it. As bright as it can get. Also, Oregon grade wiper blades, the side markers, and the turn signals are, as I usually do at Long Life, or CrystalVision blue bulbs, so it's all going to be as brightly lit up as possible. So my next steps is to pull the front bumper off of this car and get them headlamp assemblies out. Here we go. Well, that wasn't too terribly difficult, thankfully. Although a couple of those plastic fasteners were casualties, some of them had already been rearranged in the past. These are older cars. But looks like I got a pretty clear shot to all this now. Time to get out the 10mm, disconnect this bracketry. I believe I'm going to pull the headlamp out with the bracket attached so I can get to the fasteners that hold it together and just mock that up on the table and stick it back in. Looks like most everything is under here. I think I got one here, and then here, and there's going to be one here, and I believe, and I saw this holding it, but I'll find out just like everybody else as I pull it. That should get it out anyway. Of course, as always, we're going to clean up some bracketry and stuff. We're going to make it pretty. I don't know if this one becomes totally spot-free today, as it looks like it's about to pour rain on my ass and it's cold. But we're going to make it nice as needed to be. All right, let's dig in. Honestly, I got to hand it to them. At first, as far back as those things sit into that fender, I was a little bit worried about how the hell we were going to access a bunch of bolts up top. Good news is they didn't put any up top. Just one here. And one through the bracket, and one through the bracket. And that's the way it worked on both sides. Then I got to squeeze my little push clip with my handy dandy gigantic needle nose pliers to pop that little wire harness loose of each individual headlamp assembly. And it's a simple matter of disconnecting the bulbs, and the wiring has plenty of good memory to it, so it won't be hard to figure out where it goes at all. I will wipe all this off just because I am here. You can see my front bumper assembly removed. Don't worry, it had plenty of underskid scrape on it already, and we're being nice. Here's the old headlamp assemblies out with the bracket still attached. So you can see that underneath 1, 2, we're just going to swap that out this way with them outside the car and install as units. I get them off, I'll clean them off real good. And then my bulbs are all still in, so that'll serve as an excellent guide to where the hell the bulbs go, which one's high beam, which one's low beam. Let's not confuse the two. So, there's that out. Relatively quick work. Let's clean some of this stuff up and get it put in the car. Let there be light. Then we can get onto the brake job portion, which again, pads only. So, really, I'm cooking with gas today. Should be on it quick. Smooth work of it. Pleased to report I was able to get all my bulbs switched over with no problem, and the retainer clips on these all seem pretty darn good, so that's impressive. Sometimes we don't know with the aftermarket stuff how well this little clip right here is that holds the bulb in, and that's really what makes or breaks the deal. But these seem to be very nice, so no problems there. So we got our, what are these? 968 bulbs. Our smallest little peanut bulbs are bright. We got long lives in the multifunction bulbs and 130% brighter NightGuide Platinum in the high beam, 60% brighter in the regular beam. And those have excellent cool white color. Yeah, they're nice, so I really like those. Got our bracket swapped over, got all that tied down. So what's next is to go stick it in the car. Folks, it's cold out here. I ain't getting out the hose and all that today. I'm just not. But we have polished and cleaned up where things are going to be hidden forever. You know, might not make any difference whatsoever to the job, but I know it's that way. And next time I work on it, I'll get less nasty. The more I've worked on it, the less nasty this will be. And if they'd like this to be just absolutely beautiful, you know they know who to call. Anyhow, I'm going to get those headlamp assemblies stuffed in the car. Then I'm going to clean up some other hidden stuff, like where these bumpers come together. That always bugs me. I don't like there to be a bunch of dirt in there. But just quick and brief on that. Then we're going to get that reassembled and begin the brake job. So far so good. This one screws along just right, and that's the way I need it to. Awesome. Let's continue. Woo! New assemblies are in and mounted. You can see the blue glow of them bulbs in them. That's going to be a hell of a lot better. Not too hard to get these in. Fits pretty good. I'm happy with it. I'm going to go in and get my paint pen and mark my head and bolts, and then we're going to get this bumper back on. Make quick work of that. I'm going to try to get to these brakes before this weather rolls in any worse. That's the plan anyway. But already, that's going to be a huge difference. Woo, it's just not going to warm up today, I guess. That's okay, as long as the rain stays off me long enough to finish. We've got the headlamp package installed, looking good. Of course, I had some trim fasteners, dye removing, all that. I used them on the bottom portion of the bumper. Front portion of the bumper is all right until I can get some new ones in. I got some stuff to secure that, but it's up top where I can get it. Quick trip by Harbor Freight will get us what we need. Got our Oregon grade wiper blades installed. Ooh yeah, niceness. So, up next on this is an Akebono brake job. I think I have the weather gauge for the moment. It should not take me long to do a simple pad slap on this car. So, let's pop it apart. Let's get its ass done. All right, starting to get a little bit of rain on me, but not too bad. And we've got the passenger front side of the car up in the air and jack standed. So we can get on with this brake job. Now, these just look a little bit old. There's nothing terribly much to report here. Time for pads when you're ready kind of deal. Rotor looks okay. It's a little glossy. I can see some reflection, as you can. This looks old as hell. I don't see any signs of severe corrosion or where anybody's had a set of pads just go to hell. There's really no real lip. They'll be okay for today. If they have further questions, we'll get some on there for them. Pads, Akebono Pro Act. They're good pads. I don't see where the friction modifier or friction coefficient is marked on them. Hard to tell how many layers them shims are. No rubberized on them or anything like that. Appears that they riveted the squealer shim. Well, that's nice. So, these are good pads. Definitely nothing wrong with what come on it from the factory, okay? But nothing astounding about them either. If you get a good price on them, grab them. If they're twice as much, nah, not so much. That being said, proud to install them. Good parts. Let's get them stuck on this here Honda. Alright, this is not an electric car, but I'm going to use this as an example of something. So I hear a lot of people tell me that, oh, they're electric car, they never have to change their brakes, Let me show y'all something about the way disc brakes work. You see that little rubber dingus right there? That is a dust boot for your caliper slide pin. And over time, they decay and degrade regardless of what kind of car it is. Its job is to take your caliper slide pin here, which I've already greased this one, keep the grease in, keep dirt, dust, and debris out. As this grease gets old and decays, and that sticks right in there, and I have just relubed that one. Okay, I'm going to pull that out and relube it a couple more times. Because what I want to do is make sure that this moves freely without problem, all right, and continues to do so. I find it on all kinds of cars all the time, especially those that are driven lightly. These will get stuck. That grease will turn into shit, and it'll glue that pin in there. When it does, braking performance might be okay, or you might eat pads sideways, but what it will do is in that moment where you need these damn things to pinch on your electric car, it's locked up, it can't move. So whether you are replacing the pads or not, no matter what else you do with it, at least once every 3 to 4 years, at least every 25, 30,000 miles, okay, as a damn bare minimum. If not once a year, just to say you did. You need to pull your slide pins out. See, that one's halfway damn stuck. See this old tacky ass grease? Wipe it off, re-grease it, stick it back in, get things moving, put your brake set together. You might not have to replace your pads. Hell, you should while you're in there. But just saying that, regardless of what anybody else tells you, this will make your electric car's braking system last longer if you'll go through these steps. And in the event of a panic stop, it might save your life. Listen to old Willie, he ain't wrong. There's some things that have changed on vehicles and others that haven't ever. Simple brake pad replacement, hardware replacement, clean up of the caliper in a way that's mechanically necessary and no extra cosmetic today. It's just brown and ugly. I got her scrubbed down where it needed to be. Relubricated my slide pins well, like we just talked about. A critical stage for any brake job. We're ready to rock. Oh, they do have a friction coefficient, FF, so that's the good stuff. It's not GG, but it'll be all right. It ain't BB, you know, like some of that Gold Star. Undercar on this one, this ball joint is intact. Outer tie rod and inner tie rod seems intact. Lower control arm bushing seem okay. Sway bar link, maybe a little frozen-ish. A little wear to my bushing. Nothing really concerning there. Front control arm bushing, a little bit of wear there, but this is probably tight. Lower ball joint. Nothing wiggled, nothing popped. CV axle boots are intact, but that one's getting old and thinking about splitting. So we might think about some axles and some undercar with this at some time, but that's really not screaming for any of it yet. Let's pump up this brake. Let's put this wheel back on the car and call this corner done. Driver front inspection. Shows a little bit thinner fads, but nothing to be excited about. A little bit of wear to my lower control arm bushing. It appears to me that this axle seal may leak up here, or I may have a leak that lives above it. I'll investigate. We'll see. Nothing too severe, not too hard to put an axle and seal in this. We'll do both if we're going to do one. Undercar, relatively intact. There's some stain on that boot, but there's no fluid in that boot. So I'm wondering if it's had a bunch of oil slung on it from everywhere else, if that's coming from up top, or if that's grease coming out of the boot. We'll try to find the answers. I don't see anything alarming about any of this undercar other than just being kind of old. Definitely seen a whole lot worse. So, nothing big to that. Let's blast off. Number 2 is now good to go. 14 millimeters. Dated, marked. Get this caliper off the car, or get this side done. My shim's in. Got my slide pins lubricated, marked. Everything's pumped up to pressure. Everything's happy. Ain't nothing wrong with any of that. Got it brushed off and cleaned off. You know I don't get too aggressive with the brake clean on old calipers like this. They're working now. Let's not eat the rubber out of them. So, there's another corner done. 2 corners left to do. I think I'll turn the car around first, probably. We'll see. I might go work back there where it is. We'll find out in a second. In any event, flying through this one, I'm a little hungry, a little worn down. I'm ready to call it a weekend. I have one more I'm supposed to go see, but I might have to decline and see them tomorrow or something. I got to take care of myself, and I'm taking good care of myself financially at the moment. Very good. But after this car, I'm making a judgment call, and this is executive. I run my own business. This is why I'm done for the weekend for the most part after this next 2 sets of pads. Third corner, pre-removal inspection. Kind of same issues as the front. We've got old rotors, but that doesn't mean bad rotors necessarily, or good rotors. They're just rotors. No noise complaints. They can stay on. Sway bar bushings are in better shape on the front rear than the front. Don't see anything terribly wrong, just oldness. With this multi-link suspension system back here, double wishbone or upper wishbone and then double link bottom, you know, there's a lot going on. So if there's no pops and clunks, there's not much to mess with. If they'd like, I can make it brand new for them. Anyway, let's get to the job at hand. This looks like it's going to be an integrated parking brake caliper, which means I'm going to have to use one of my mini fancy wind back tools on it, but that's no thing. You know why? Because I have the wind back tools. Why they didn't make a drum on hat, I don't know, but I'm not going to argue with Honda engineers today. They look like they've overdone it, but done a good job. What can I say? This one, and then the next corner, and then I'm going to try to take some time off this weekend. So, let's get these fucking pads off this gosh darn Honda. All right, corner number 3 is done. Brake pads are on the car. getting rained on and wet a little bit here, but you know, just Pacific Northwest says nothing that'll stop me. I won't melt, but I'll be glad to be done. So I went ahead, got my pads installed, got everything cleaned up, greased and lubricated my slide pins. Look, I put the pad spreader springs back in my brakes, and the ones that come off of it were Akebono, so the dealership decided those didn't serve any real purpose, or they fell off at some point. I'm not going to throw any blame. Undercar looks good. That's all ready to rock. It was a windback style caliper, but no adapter needed. Just use your twister with the forks that twist while you turn it. I ain't screwing with that cube if I don't have to. Anyway, there's one more corner done. The weather is getting nasty. It's getting ugly out here. If I can get one more done, then I can call it a weekend and be done screwing with other people's shit for at least a few hours. So let's get this wheel on this car. Let's get this other side up in the air. Let's get it done. Let's get it dried off. Let's start my weekend. Here we go. Beautiful spring April showers. Going to bring in the May flowers and get me nice and soaking wet and freaking disgusting while I do this brake job. But you know what? That's okay. I am all weather rated. This is about as hardcore as I'll go, though. Let's have a look over these brakes. They were thinner on the other side than they are on this side, it appears to me. Nothing egregious to talk about. Rudder seems all right. Wear to our link on this side looks a little worse to me. Everything, in fact, appears intact. A little closer examination can be done another time when it's not pouring rain on me, but this ain't all tore up and bad. I'll have a lot better idea about it when I test drive the car and actually get to know how it feels versus how it looks. Also get to know how it sounds. So this one, just like the others, yeah, sure, we could do rotors on it. We'll see if it needs them. If there's no pulsation or noise, then it don't. If there is, it does. But I have a feeling there's not going to be. Evidence suggests that brake pads have been changed early and often on this. Now, on this one, it looks like they got one of the two little clippets in there. But where's the other one? Or maybe that set of brake pads just used a big one. I don't know. I won't argue with that. It's all just hardware. I'm going to put two back on my side. So, looks like it's calming down with that rain for just a minute. Looks like the sun's thinking about coming out for just a second. That gives me time to knock this out. Wish me luck, folks. I'm all gross and cold and wet and nasty. It's Saturday. It's not quite 5 o'clock yet. I could get paid on this, and I could tell everybody else to go to hell who's expecting me, and it'll be too late for that anyway. And I could go find myself someplace nice to eat with the money I earned this week. Root for me, folks. Let's get Willie out here. Okay, everybody. Time to go over the results. I'm very happy with it. Those headlamps installed well enough. They were not the most precise fit I've ever dealt with, but I managed to get them in there like I wanted and everything with a little bit of pushing and pulling on things. We're all good. Oregon grade wiper blades, well, you can see how awesome those are. Truly spectacular. Go ahead and give me a wipe there, Honda. Oh, it's going to wait on it. Ah, there it goes. Yep. Look. Tell the difference between that, especially versus just regular non-beam type. Oh, yeah. Brakes, all four wheels, happy, no noises, great pedal feel. That's a good brake job. Those are real happy. Everything about that's real good. So we'll finish off by testing the high beams and the low beams on it. So as you can see, this is my inoffensive regular beams, and I'm happy about that. They are brighter than stock, but they're not blinding anybody to death, and the light color is excellent. We go to high beams, there's that 130% brighter bulb, so when needed, we can step it up a notch and kick it into high gear. Nice, nice, nice. You can see even my markers are extra bright. That's going to make a big difference at night. I'll have the client get me some night footage. We'll go off of high beams, turn signal it, test that. Look at that. Nice and extra bright on that one instead of a long life. Maybe that is a long life, I forget. And here's that one. So all lights checked. This car is happy, ready to rock. Time for the customer to come pick up. Time for me to put away my toys, go get dry, and for my weekend to start right now, folks. It's been a marathon of Hondas, Toyotas. We've been putting lights and brakes and all sorts of stuff. There's more to be done, but now my time begins. Have fun out there, everybody. Thanks for watching.